Hey Superachievers! I recently attended a TEDx event here in Washington, D.C. and wanted to share one of my main learning points with you. By the way, a shout out to Matt, a Quit Bleeping Around podcast listener who recognized me at the event and said hello in passing. Thanks for listening. Now, after attending several of the speeches of the engaging speakers, I could see a theme forming. You guessed it, by the title of this video. It seems that many things can be solved by asking questions. Okay, I know this can seem like common sense. However, I have two questions for you here. One, is common sense really that common? And two, just because we know something doesn't mean that we understand it and action it, right? All right, back to the matter at hand. After reflecting on all of the different topics presented at the TEDx conference, and how asking questions could be a solution to most of the issues discussed, I've come to realize how much of how we get in our own way can be solved by asking questions. Let's examine the evidence. For Exhibit A, think about the last time you were frustrated with someone else. In my case, I believe that the other individual was being intentionally problematic on a specific subject. Now, reflect on the thoughts that were going through your head. Notice something about them? They were all statements about the person and their behavior, right? Now, if you did happen to ask yourself a question, it was probably more rhetorical, wasn't it? Like, why is he or she being such a butt? Or other word here. Now let's apply our learned solutions of asking questions. And when I say asking questions, I mean inquisitive, open-ended questions. Such as, what is leading me to believe that this individual is difficult? What is another way I can interpret their behavior? Or you can openly ask them a question. Okay, not in an accusatory one though, okay? So watch your tone. Such as, am I right in thinking that you disagree with me? Or, I'm sensing some resistance. What's going on here for you? Now, in essence, ask whatever question you feel will get them to open up the most without getting too defensive. All right, let's look at something else. Evidence Exhibit B. Think about the last time you were frustrated with a situation, a process, a rule, or some other circumstance. Now reflect on the thoughts that were going through your head. Again, notice that they were either all statements or questions that weren't truly curious. For example, I was recently helping an organization with their processes to become more effective in how they completed a specific task. My initial thought was what they were currently doing was archaic and asinine. However, I quickly switched to practicing what I preach, and I got curious about how they came to be in that situation. So after asking several questions, it made a lot of sense how they ended up where they did with that process. And we were able to use that information to get them to a more effective state. All right, Superachievers. The learning from today is to stop yourself from making up those stories in your head about others and situations. Instead, train yourself to stop the incessant internal chatter and to ask yourself and those involved curious, open-ended questions to get to the truth of the matter.